Hey group, how's it going? This is D-Dub here. Today I want to talk a little bit about Phase 4, or as I like to call it, Phase 4, because frankly there's not a whole lot that's really exciting to me about this. Marvel, they've had a great run. You know, what is it, 23 movies, and everything's wrapped up with a nice, neat little bow. And they actually put a little bit further on it if you want to count Spider-Man Far From Home. But frankly, Endgame was a pretty good ending point. Now, there's so much to unpack with Phase 4. I'm going to do this in two parts. I'm going to start first with the streaming part, which would be all the stuff that's going to be on Disney Plus. And after I do Disney Plus, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to, in a separate video, talk about all the different movies that are coming down the pike. Okay? Well, let's go. Well, first up, we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, here are two characters that obviously they didn't feel strong enough about in order to put them in their own films or to put them on a big film. So they put them on the streaming service. My own personal feeling on this is that what they're trying to do is test the waters, so to speak. I mean, they've had Sam Wilson being Captain America in the comics for a while now. And for a while, I believe there was even two Captain Americas. But we're not exactly sure how the movie-going public's going to take it, so we're going to give them a movie. And you know what? We'll toss Bucky in there, too. Now, Bucky, if I recall right, was actually kind of known as a White Wolf at the end of Infinity War and that. But, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. Sharon Carter is going to be this also. I guess they have to figure out something to do with her now that technically she's Steve's niece. And well, we won't even go into that. And Zemo is going to make another reappearance in there. Zemo, who, without superpowers, managed to basically tear the Avengers apart. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. Next up, we have WandaVision. Now, WandaVision is going to be weird. It's going to be an hour long. I think they said 6 episodes. And it's going to involve Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and apparently the Vision's going to be in there also. Now, it's going to be styled somewhat as a 50s sitcom, I guess. I don't know. Character-wise, I mean, she's a good character. I don't know if she's really strong enough to carry much past that. But I really get the feeling this particular show is going to turn around and it's just going to be a setup for the Doctor Strange movie, because he's also going to be in that. But, you know, we'll get to that in the next video. One that I'm kind of interested in is What If. Now, I was a big fan of the What If comics when they first came out. And in case you don't know, and if you're watching this, you probably do know, What If would take a point in the Marvel Universe, not necessarily the MCU, and let's say the spider that was going to bite Spider-Man accidentally bit somebody else instead. And it would go on from that. A lot of these ended up being very tragic in the end. And I'm very curious to see what they're going to do as far as the MCU with this. Because that's what it's going to be based on. It's going to be based on MCU. It's not going to be based on the comic book universe. Although it might. A lot of the people that are actually involved with the MCU are going to be doing voices. The two notable exceptions are Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Gee, I wonder if they're going to do What If Jane Foster had the hammer of Thor. Who knows? Okay, next up we have Hawkeye. Hawkeye is... he's one of those characters. He's kind of been there. A lot of people like him. He did become Ronin in Endgame, which he also had done in the comics for a while. Not real familiar with recent Hawkeye in the comics, so I can't comment on that. He's just been one of those characters that kind of never knew what to do with him. For a while he was doing corporate security for some company. But, you know, we'll see what goes here. It's my understanding this is going to be what they're going to do is make his daughter into the new Hawkeye, which they could be down the road setting up for like a Young Avengers. Now, ordinarily, this is where we would stop with this. However, we had 3 late arrivals. We recently had the D23 Expo, where Disney puts out all of their plans coming forward. And part of what they do is, of course, with Marvel. They announced 3 new series, which we will go through here. First, in no particular order, these 3. First, we have Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight, some people just feel is almost like a Marvel version of Batman. He's a lot more nuanced than that. You know, there's things with multiple personalities and all that sort of fun stuff. So, I'll be very curious to see what they do with him. Now, Disney Plus has stated they're not going to show any R-rated movies. So I'm very curious what they're going to do as far as TV shows. I know some of the Netflix shows were pretty intense. Now, whether that carries over to Disney Plus, I don't know. It's one of those we'll have to take a wait and see on it. Next up, they have announced Ms. Marvel. Now, this character I actually do know a bit about. I've read a lot of her earlier works, and I've seen her in a little bit of the animated Marvel stuff, where she show up with like Squirrel Girl and that. I like the character of Kamala Khan, at least as far as the episodes I had seen, or the books I read. She was a very well-rounded individual. She had a full home life outside of being Ms. Marvel. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess Captain Marvel may make an appearance in here. I can't say for sure because Brie Larson, you know, in her mind she's a huge star, so she may not do it. But then again, she did do the Unicorn Shop, so we'll see. But Ms. Marvel, the big thing with this is that they tout her as the first Muslim superheroine. And you know what, that is fantastic. My big problem comes with a lot of these where they have to hit you over the head with it, which I have another video coming up where I'm going to discuss some of this. But again, that's not for now. We're just looking at upcoming stuff and my thoughts on it. And the final one is the She-Hulk. Now, the She-Hulk, she's had a pretty, let's just say schizophrenic career. She started out as a savage She-Hulk, and from there she really grew. She was a member of the Fantastic Four for a while. I believe she was an Avenger. She had a pretty good run. I believe it was John Byrne that did it, but I could be wrong. Where she did a lot of the breaking the fourth wall stuff, and I want to say it predates Deadpool. You know, as long as she's not done where she's taking herself too seriously, I think it could be good. But it all comes down to what they're going to do with it. Now, are they going to use her to replace the Hulk character? Will Banner or Smart Hulk or whatever even show up in the show? I don't know. I don't know the way the contracts work in these. But this is also a way, because I believe Universal still has the rights for any freestanding Hulk movies. Kind of like what happened with Spider-Man, where Sony took back the rights to the freestanding movies. But, you know, we'll see. It's way too early in all this to even tell. Disney Plus doesn't even launch for 2 months, I want to say, at the time of this recording. I don't know if I'm going to get it personally, mainly because, to me, I don't know if it's worth it. You know, they're going to have a lot of stuff on there. As a reviewer, I'm probably going to be forced to get it just so I can take a look at some of these things and come out and say my opinions of them. But I don't know. We'll see. Again, that's a couple months away. So anyway, that's my views on the streaming part of Phase 4. If you have anything you'd like to add on this, go to the comments below. And while you're down there, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it. And in the meantime, just remember, folks, just because it's pop, don't mean it ain't culture. Bye, folks.